Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to the next class of classical cryptography techniques, that is chapter 2 by William Stalling. And today we will learn about another algorithm that is called Playfair Cryptography. But before proceeding, let's take a quick review of the previous session. We have done the classification of cryptography as well. We have discussed the Caesar cipher in detail with encryption, decryption, and cryptanalysis of that algorithm. So what was the classification of cryptography? We have classified the cryptography into three bases. One is called on the basis of keys and on the basis of encryption operation. And third one was on the basis of processing. If we see here, on the basis of keys, we have subcategorized it into symmetric and asymmetric key cryptography. In symmetric key cryptography, we have same key for encryption and decryption, and it is also called private key cryptography and secret key cryptography. And asymmetric key cryptography, where we have different key for encryption and decryption, and on both sides, like sender and receiver, will have a different keys for encryption and decryption. On the other hand, we have classified the cryptography on the basis of encryption operation, where we can see we have substitution, transposition, and product cryptography. What is substitution? In substitution, we actually substitute one character with the characters, for example, A to X or A to Z or A to Y. That is called monoalphabetic cryptography. Actually, that is substitution, that we have substitute one character with the other character. And we have also discussed the polyalphabetic cryptography, where at one time of encryption we have X as the cipher, and the next time we will have Z or any other character. And with this kind of cryptography, we can have different interpretation of a same character. This is called polyalphabetic cryptography. And today we will discuss about the polyalphabetic technique by using Playfair Cipher. In the transposition, what we do, we actually transpose or permute over character. For example, we have X, Y, Z as a plain text. We make a cipher as Z, Y, and X. That means the character will be same as the plain text, but the position of the cipher will be changed. But this will happen by some mathematical calculation, and we will discuss it in detail when we will proceed with the transposition cipher techniques. We have product cryptography. In product cryptography, we have some predefined matrix where we take the dot product of the ciphertext and plain text, dot product with the predefined matrix, and we will get with the cipher. And here we do the product cryptography in various fields and different finite field and number theory concepts. And next, if we proceed with the block cryptography and stream cryptography. In block cryptography, what we do, we actually create the blocks of data, fixed size of block data. So for example, in data encryption standard, we have 64-bit block, and we encrypt it collectively by using data encryption algorithm, and then we have the ciphertext with the secret key. But in the stream cryptography, that is specifically for the buffering and for the audio or video continuous data, where the data is continuously transmitting, and we will actually transmit over data with encryption, encrypting the same single bit or combination of different bits in continuous way. So that was the idea about the classification of cryptography, and more about the next concept, that was some standards. We have discussed that we have one algo that is called Caesar cipher, and in Caesar cipher we have the algorithm as P plus K mod 26. That means we have to take the addition with the key and we will take the mod of that number, and we will get the cipher. And for decryption, we will subtract the cipher with the key, and we will get back the plain text. So this was all about the previous lecture, and today we will discuss about the Playfair cipher, that what is the techniques and what kind of keys can be used in Playfair cryptography. So students, let's discuss the Playfair cipher, that is Playfair cryptography, and also called Playfair square and Wheatstone cipher. Let me write it here for you. That is Playfair square or Wheatstone cipher. So that is actually invented by Charles Wheatstone in 1854. But actually that was extensively used by Lord Playfair. That's why the name of that cryptography technique is Playfair, named after him. This cryptography technique was used by British forces in Second Boer War and World War One, as well as by the Australian in World War Two. So what kind of technique the Playfair is? That is actually polyalphabetic substitution and symmetric cryptography. So what is the difference between the Caesar cipher and Playfair cipher? That is actually the technique of substitution. In Caesar cipher, actually we did monoalphabetic cryptography, where we substitute one character with one letter. And in polyalphabetic, what we will actually use different keys and different characters, and for each character we can have multiple interpretation. So I like about Playfair code is that it's easy, relatively speaking, for a regular person to write down, computer or mathematical of any kind. And yet it is fiendishly clever, much more so that any person can encode and decode the message. So let's discuss this algorithm in detail.